Hey guys, Magenta's back here today again with another Future Card Buddyfight deck profile. This time, it will be on my Magic World 72 Pillars deck, featuring the new Demon Teacher as Modai. So without further ado, let's get on with it. So this deck is an aggressive deck, which allows you to hard destroy your opponent's monsters. So even if your opponent's monsters have really high power and defense, doesn't really matter because you can just straight up destroy your opponent's monster. Yeah, so I will classify this under aggro. So let's get on with the deck itself. Flag, Buddy. Buddy is Dance as Modai. When this card enters the field, draw a card. For this deck, we're running a lot of cards with when this card enters the field, because this works really well with the Teacher as Modai. So this is our Buddy monster. Size 2 monster, 6k power, 2 crits. Don't really care about the defense. And it gets to help you cycle through the deck. And replenishes your hand as well. So pretty good, pretty good. Let's move on to size 3s. We run 1 copy of Inverse Second Omni Demon Lord as Death as Modai. You can see he's an Inverse Omni Lord. Pay 2 gauge. When this card is destroyed, put the top 3 cards of the deck into your drop zone. Call 3 monsters from among them on separate areas without playing the call cost. Penetrate Lifelink 2. 50k power, 3 crits and 10k defense. Really good wall in the center. And also really good center clearer. And after it dies, it still replenishes your field. So even if it's the last card in your hand, you still get monsters after that. If you have monsters, that is. So 1 copy of this. Okay, we'll just move this aside. 1 copy of Death as Modai. Now moving on to the size 2s, we run 3 copies of Demon Sommelier Zagan. His skill: the cast cost of each of your Magic World spells is reduced by 1 gauge. Size 2 monster, 4k power, 2 crits, 2k defense. Really crappy power and defense, but we use it mainly for the reduction of cast costs. If you have 2 of them, basically most of your spells come free already. So pretty good, especially when you're trying to finish off your opponent with some killer spell combo. Yeah. Alright, moving on. 4 copies of a Buddy monster. When this card enters the field, draw a card. You've already seen. So that's all for the size 3s and size 2s monsters. Size 2s? Yeah, okay. Monsters was a bit redundant. So moving on to the key card of the deck, we have 4 copies of Fervent Demon Lord Teacher as Modai. 1 copy is Buddy Rare. So Buddy Rare is really hard to see, so we'll just look at the normal triple rare version. Pay 2 gauge, return a 72 Pillars monster from a field into your hand. When this card enters the field, destroy a monster on your opponent's field. Then if there are 3 or more 72 Pillars on your field, destroy a card on your opponent's field. 5k power, 2 crits, 1k defense, 1000 rapier stats. Pay 2 gauge, when it enters the field, you get to return a card from your hand. So let's say you have your awesome Buddy monster, you can return this to your hand, and the next time you call it, you can get to draw an extra card. So pretty cool. And of course, the fact that it gets to destroy up to 2 cards is really good. So really good against like some super strong Yamigedo decks or something. So 4 copies to increase your chances of drawing into this. Moving on to additional size 1s, we have more cards with when this card enters the field. So 4 copies of Let's Play Asmodai from the Trial deck. When this card enters the field, if you have a card with Asmodai in its card name in your drop zone, you gain 1 life. 5k power, 1 crit, 1k defense, size 1 monster. So, and of course, added benefit of this is that it's really shiny. 4 copies of this, life gain is pretty cool, especially if it comes free of charge. I mean, since you're gonna return something anyway, you might as well have something to return that does something when it's played again. So 4 copies of Let's Play Asmodai. Life gain is pretty good. Yeah, basically just run it for the life gain and the fact that it's an Asmodai itself. I mean, there are no additional synergies already with Asmodai except for this card, but well, that's about it. I mean, that's all you need. Just Asmodais. Alright, 1 copy of the BT01 Demon Lord Asmodai. Dangerous Backdrop. When this card enters the field, you may discard card from your hand. If you do, destroy a monster on the field. 5k power, 1 crit, 1k defense. Just 1 copy is enough because we have the new Fervent Fervent Demon Teacher Asmodai. Don't really need another one, but we're just running it for the sake of having another thing that does something when it's played. Yeah. So, more demons. 2 copies of Demon Realm Architect Gamagin. Gamagin. Okay, whatever his name. So, similar stats to Asmodai. That's really standard for Magic World. Core cost, pay 1 gauge. When this card enters the field, search your deck for 1 Magic World spell with set and put that into your hand and shuffle your deck. 2 copies. Also, it does something when it's played and searches out your set spell. Lastly, we run 3 copies of Demon Dealer Hyganti. What does this card do? When this card enters the field via an effect of a card, put the top card of your deck into your gauge and you gain 1 life. 2k power, 2 crits and 2k defense. Synergizes really well with the great spell we run, and of course works well with Death Asmodai. So that's it for the monsters. That's it for the monsters. That's it for the monsters, guys. So for the items, we run 2 copies of Sorcery Book Goetia. 72 pillars weapon is really important because a lot of things require 72 pillars to trigger. That's why we don't run gun rods anymore. Sorcery Book Goetia. 3k power, 1 crit. Equip cost, pay 1 gauge. You can attack with this card even if you have a monster in center. Basically your Starbow, Artemis Arrow. Yeah, alright. If you have 3 or more other 72 pillars on the field, this card gets power 2k and crit +1. So it works with your monsters and your set spells. So that's about it. I mean, basically you just need a full board of 72 pillars and it becomes a 5k 2 crit weapon. So pretty cool. Just 2 of these because Magic World isn't really reliant on weapons. It's just a bonus to have. So 2 copies is enough. Moving on to the spells. For the set spells, we only run 2 copies of Solomon's Great Barrier. Yeah, basically cast cost of pay 1 gauge. Cast cost of 1 gauge. The size of your originally size 2 72 pillars monster are reduced by 1. Basically, your size 2 turn into size 1. You may only set 1 of this on your field. 2 copies is enough. And next we run 2 copies of Devil's Advantage. Really old spell as well. Cast cost, pay 1 gauge. Choose 2 72 pillars from your drop zone with the same card name and put them into your hand. Basically, very good for recycling your Fervent Asmodais, because they're just gonna get sniped, and once you run out of it, basically you're gonna be screwed, because Magic World is gonna have some serious trouble getting rid of opponent's monster without effects. That's right. So yeah, moving on to more spells. 3 copies of Mind of Hardcore. Basically clear Serenity for your Magic World 72 pillars. You may only cast this card with 2 or more 72 pillars monster on the field. Put the top 3 cards of your deck into your gauge. You may only cast this once per turn. Yeah. So just for the gauge increase, because Asmodai takes up a lot of gauge, and yeah, gauge is really important. I mean, if you have infinite gauge, basically you just win the game, right? Alright, moving on. 3 copies of Great Spell Saturday Night Devil Fever. This is the old print with the golden words. You can read what it does. 72 pillars summon. Pay 2 gauge, pay 1 life. You mainly cast this card with the number of 72 pillars in your drop zone is 6 or more. Counter. Choose up to 3 size 1 72 pillars from your drop zone and call them without paying the call cost. Return all cards from your drop zone into your deck and shuffle your deck. So, key things to take note. It calls 3 size 1 monsters without paying their call cost. So if you have cards like Asmodai, you do not have to pay the gauge and you do not have to return a 72 pillars monster. And the on-call effect still triggers as well. And if you call something like Demon Dealer, you get free gauge and free life. And of course, if you call something like Let's Play Asmodai, you gain life. Call something like Gamagin, you can search a set spell. Call something like your buddy monster and you get to draw a card. Yeah, I mean, calls searches for size 1, but I don't know how the interaction will work with Solomon's Great Barrier, because essentially your size 2s turn into size 1s. I think you can call the size 2s as well. Alright, moving on to the other spells. We have our standard Solomon Shield, 4 copies. Nullify the attack if it's not a link attack. Just 4 copies to save your butt. Moving on, we have 4 copies of Chillax. Pay 1 gauge. The next time damage will be dealt to you this turn, it is reduced to 0 and you gain 1 life. So damage reduction and life gain, pretty strong against direct damage as well. Lastly, last but not least, but no, that's the wrong English term. Alright, 4 copies of Magical Goodbye. Counter, return a size 2 or less monster to its owner's hand. That's 4 copies. And lastly, 4 copies of Nice One. Pay 1 gauge, draw 2 cards. You may only use this once per turn. So basically that's all for the deck. So let me just demonstrate a really sick combo which you can pull off with this deck if you have 2 Asmodeis and X number of gauge. Let's say you have like this much gauge. Okay, so I mean it usually doesn't happen, but if you have this much gauge, basically you can just, oh, I have an Asmodei here. Then if you have 1 in your hand, return it to your hand, pay 2 gauge. Let's say you have a bunch of other 72 pillars, but yeah, let's say you have your item, you have a set spell. Where are the set spells? Oh, here. Let's say you have a set spell, and you have like 2 other monsters. Set spell is present, so these monsters are essentially size 1s. So now you have like more than 372 pillars on the field. You can just keep on spamming this. Return, 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 return. And you can just clear his whole board of everything, depending on the amount of gauge you have, of course. So that's the really one sick combo of this. And of course, if you are to finish off your opponent, you can always just do a straight up attack spam. Do attack spam, then afterwards you can just like use the great spell. Great spell screw over your opponent. You just use this. Call up to 3 size 1 or less. Call up to 3 size 1 72 pillars. So basically you can destroy your own monsters, because that's how calling works. As long as you call something, yeah, you can replace, you can call over it. So technically it's still your battle phase. You can go with 3 more attacks. All those attacks are gonna hit really hard. So unless your opponent has like stupid Burn Nova which prevents him from taking damage, you're good to go, man. That's a total of like 14 damage in a turn. Yeah, pretty cool, right? So it's actually one of my personal favorite decks. So really do hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like down below to show me some support. Also, if you're new to my channel, subscribe if you'd like to see more Buddyfight deck profiles, card reviews, stuff like that. So be sure to add me on Facebook. You can message me if you have encounter any difficulties with Buddyfight, or if you just need someone to take a look at your deck. If I'm free, I'll do it, of course. Yeah, I mean, I'm bored, man. Alright, moving on. Same thing, decks to expect. Gonna be the stupid Jackknife deck, which I have no progress because the players around my area, well, they just miraculously the Jackknife just got depleted, so now it's like short supply, man. So anyway, I'm working hard to complete those decks. I mean, it's probably almost done, like a few more copies of key cards. Oh, and of course, Shadow Shade is also something I'm doing right now. Currently have 3 Joes. Yeah, something like that. Alright, so see you in the next video. Goodbye. Take care.